Vital's B-Practice podcast is proudly sponsored by Maxxis, BergTech, and Industry 9. As most of you know, tires play a huge part in deciding if you make it down a section of trail and control or end up bonsaiing to the bottom on your head. Tires are not the place to cut corners, and Maxxis offers a massive range of models to meet the needs of any rider. They've built their name through racing at the highest levels of the sport, and you can visit your local shop or favorite online retailer to get the same tread patterns and compounds used by the fastest racers in the world. And if it were up to me, you can't go wrong with an ASCII up front and a DHR2 in the rear. Make sure to head to maxxis.com for more. With the tagline Labor of Love, BergTech isn't shy about the countless hours they've invested in developing components that they feel offer riders a true technical advantage. Based in the UK and born out of a passion for mountain biking and racing, BergTech produces a ton of trick parts, from bars, stems, and grips to anodized axles, shock hardware, and saddles. The cockpit of choice for the Santa Cruz Syndicate and many other riders, make sure to check out BergTech the next time you want to give your bike some deserving love. Designed, tested, machined, anodized, and hand-built by fellow mountain bikers in Asheville, North Carolina, Industry 9 wheels and hubs have become synonymous with quality and durability. I don't know if there is a noise as iconic as the buzz of an Industry 9 hub. They offer wheels for every budget and riding discipline, from dirt jumping to gravel riding or e-biking, plus you can get crazy with customized hub and individual spoke colors. So if you've been dying to build that Rasa-themed bike or some sweet rainbow wheels, Industry 9 has got you covered. Make sure to head to industry9.com to learn more.
It might just not be meant to be.
Well, I think it's just not meant to be.
I think we knew that a little while ago, though, but...
Let me try something. You can hear me.
Oh, my God. I almost don't want to try anything else.
No, I'm like, yeah. Let me try something. Like, no, we already tried everything.
I'm like, you've been outside, inside, Wi-Fi on, Wi-Fi off, everybody off the Wi-Fi. Close the apps, phone, computer, headphones, other headphones.
This call is being recorded.
Okay.
Who are you calling in from right now?
My phone, cellular, rather than data.
Does that mean this is going to cost you a shitload of money?
No, I got an
He's got
international
plan.
phone plan.
It sounds so crisp. Why didn't we try this to begin with? You sound crisper than probably Tanner and I do.
I mean, it shouldn't cost me money to international call to an American number from France.
No.
It's American number to American number. I'll check. I'm gonna double check why we're working on this. So now I'm crisp.
Yeah, you're crispy boy out here.
You know, for some reason, I'm bummed that it's working. Only because we're like over an hour into trying to podcast, when my goal originally was for this to be an hour. Here we are.
Maybe we have found a new way to always be crispy.
Yeah,
crispy
maybe
baby.
you calling in really is the answer.
20 cents a minute, so it's all good. $1 for 5 minutes. That's something I can afford for what I've done to you guys.
Damn, he got it like that. Okay. He got that 20 cents a minute.
Doesn't even win nationals. He still got it like that.
That actually financially did hurt me. I was really hoping on that. I was gonna get that $350. Get my entry fee back, you know.
All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Vital MTB's B-Practice podcast, presented by Maxxis, Industry 9 at BergTech. I'm Jason Schroeder, as always, joined by Tanner Stephens and Dakotah Norton. Man, we're an hour into this podcast, and we're just now actually recording something that people will probably listen to. Dakotah's in France. Tanner's back home. I'm in Bellingham. The difficulties of trying to do a podcast from us being in different parts of the world has really set in this morning. But how are you guys?
Dakotah, you can start.
I just straight up forgot that we were supposed to do this, if I'm being honest. I had a very productive day. I woke up, I got a beautiful night's sleep after not sleeping for 30 some hours, and slept beautifully, got up, went to the gym, worked on my computer, did intervals, and then realized as I was in the shower, actually, quite literally with soap in my hair, that I was supposed to be on a podcast an hour ago. So here we are.
Yeah, I might not pay you for this one.
Man,
It's okay. It's okay.
Dakotah, do you ever
But yeah,
wake
dude.
up? Do you ever wake up and like feel like you're lost? Like from
Most of my life, yes. Oh, I was supposed to be somewhere. It's like when you wake up, like every day when you wake up and you're late for work and you're wondering, picking up the phone, like, what time is it? Am I late? That's me most days. Trying to wonder what's going on.
man.
Wow. Well, I'll save my frustrations because it's at least working right now, which means we probably shouldn't waste any time. We should just do the podcast.
Dude, we're good now, dude. We're good. We're running. I
This is
have
the
found a
crispest you've
new
ever
way for the
sounded.
podcast. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm not prepared to do this from Andorra, but the rest of them, let's go. I got it. I got it like that now.
Is Andorra excluded from your phone plan? Is that why you say that?
Usually, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
Let's dive in.
today we're talking USDH. Last weekend was Nat Champs at Rock Creek in North Carolina. Tanner and myself, once upon a time, we were US downhill racers, and honestly, we're pretty out of the loop these days. So I figured this would be a good chance to get a gauge on the current state of US downhill because Dakotah was obviously there racing. And yeah, man, hear how the weekend went. Dak, we'll get into your weekend in a little bit, but I wanted to kick this off with just what's the current state of US downhill like? What was the turnout like? What's the vibe like at nationals, even though we don't really have a national series anymore? What were people like?
I would say that having it just be gravity nationals was super weird. Usually you're used to like having all the cross country races there and more families and obviously for every one cross country racer, you would think with all the kids that they would have their families there and such. So it made it feel like a bigger event having them both combined because it was a bigger event,
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't feel like as much of like nationals, honestly. It felt like a downhill southeast, if I'm being honest, or like like the Tennessee National. It was a similar turnout that we would normally have for our U.S. races, or like maybe not quite as much as maybe U.S. Open had this year or last year. But overall, I mean, the racing was good. I think that the venue did a great job with the courses for what they had. The slalom track, a ton of effort went into. High five to those guys over at Ride Rock Creek because they put in a ton of work for the slalom track and it was sick. Unfortunately, it rained. I didn't go watch it because I thought it was pouring and going to get canceled, but apparently track held up even though it was a fresh built track and they had a good race. And the downhill track was good, man. Short, but good. Packed a punch for what it was.
Rad. Yeah, Tanner, you've never been there, have you?
No, I don't even know where it's at.
I know. I'm kind of in
was
the same
wondering,
boat.
Like
I've heard about it.
geographical,
And watching it, it looked. I watched. I found a GoPro run on YouTube and then watched our Vital Raw stuff, and it looked like an interesting track. It looks like a lot of clay in the dirt, and it a lot of like placed rocks, which were kind of interesting. But it had a very East Coast vibe. It looked maybe like it was kind of fun to ride. I don't know. Yeah. What's the terrain like there,
Yeah, I
Dak?
think so it was like a sandy clay mix. It was super slippery when it rained still, but
Mhm.
it did dry out pretty fast and had decent grip when it was it wasn't rocky like wind rock. So I had decent grip when it dried out. I mean, it was a kind of a sandier hard pack surface, but it wasn't marbly. So I think overall the track was really good. I mean, I think originally it got built as a structural frame testing track, maybe. It just had like huck to flat after huck to flat. But Nico did a great job of polling it. So it was different for the weekend. So it had a different kind of ride feel, put in some bus stop sections, put in some technical corners, slowed the speed down because the one thing I've really noticed after watching practice is the majority of the junior X kids ride very out of control and they're just absolutely, like, the term weapons comes to mind, as in, like, literally I am terrified to watch the majority of those guys go down the track, because it's like Luca and the fasties are going fast but very in control and precise, and the other kids were just winging it. So a kamikaze pilot, dude, and I think that it was cool to see him, like, not want to have a lot of people get hurt, rather than have the mentality, like, if you can't ride it that fast, use the brakes, because I don't think a lot of the kids have the maturity to use the brakes. So he took that into his own hands. So that was good to see. So the track was great.
Check.
Yeah, it sounds like what you're describing almost sounds like a dirt bike track, like a moto track. It's like it actually had a prep on it, and it wasn't like wasn't the same track that you would show up and ride like 2 weeks before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he did a good job of that. I do have to say positive things about that. And I think overall the track, he designed it to both get himself ready to race World Cups. Granted, there's limited, I think with the dirt, the consistency of the dirt, there's maybe limited ability to have heavy braking bumps. And obviously there is no rock. So what rock is there was placed. Mm-hmm. But he made a ton of heavy compressions. And overall, I think it was, like, for a U.S. racetrack, it was pretty dang proper. I mean, it was rough. It was rough from maybe a man-made standpoint, where you, like, did get, like, some heavy braking into berms, and, like, you kind of get that feeling you get maybe, like in the middle of Andorra. You guys have, I think, both raced that track, where, like, you're skidding into a bike park berm that isn't great, and it's you're trying to slow down rather than just, like, pumping for more speed everywhere. So it was good. I think the track was great and the conditions were good. The overall layout of the track was great. The jumps were well built. So yeah, it was good. I have nothing bad to say, man. It was actually a fun event. Yeah.
What's like around Rock Creek? Like, where is it near? And, like, is there any, like, facilities there or anything?
So there is no cell service. It's, like, kind of in the country off. It's below Asheville, North Carolina, near Brevard or Hendersonville, going towards South Carolina. So it's kind of like one of the last exits before you drop down into South Carolina. And not a lot going on there. Right directly next to it, it's real close to Cayuga, or if you guys have rode trail bikes in Brevard, where Bailey Bike Park was above Asheville. This is below. So yeah, it was overall pretty close to a major metropolitan area to build a bike park. So that's good.
Man, that's sweet. I know, I feel like I've been blowing it, not making it to that whole list of places you just named off. There's so much happening in those hot spots on the East Coast right now.
Yeah, they definitely, like, I mean, forever, Brevard has been one of the best destinations for, like, trail bike riding in the country. And Pisgah National Forest has, like, a ton of big, raw, like, backcountry riding. And yeah, they've slowly manicured some of it. Like, I think Black used to be, like, rougher than a World Cup downhill track. And it's kind of got some love over the years. And they've done, fixed up some trails. But there's still a pile of, like, raw East Coast roots and rocks, nasty, like, trail bike riding that's, like, proper and unsanitized, because it's all there's so much of it, and it's all, like, such big backcountry riding. It's amazing, but that isn't necessarily what gets your average mountain biker into it. I mean, obviously that's a desired taste, and as we grow mountain biking, we continue to see more and more flow trail and maybe easier trail to ride to cover more mileage, which DuPont National Forest has. But the one thing the area has never had is a lot of jump, and that's obviously very popular. So they built Cayuga as a pedal park and put in a ton. They actually put in a pretty gnarly jump trail that had some real big tables on it. And Isaac Lodson built it. So obviously great. He's a super good trail builder. So, yeah, they built that big jump trail and then a bunch of like beginner to intermediate jumps and like big mellow jumps, which is something we never see. It seems like they're always real short and kicky. So I had a ton of all the stuff was super well built, and they put that pedal park in, and it absolutely killed it. And I think beyond expectations for the whole group involved. And then they were able to buy another piece of property and start a lift service park that Nico and Dave Lamond are I believe, are both owners of. And the place is awesome, dude. It's they've quickly got an awesome crew of trail builders. The property they own is beautiful, and they paved a road, shuttle road. They have their own shuttle buses, and it's clean. The facility's super nice. They have a really nice bike shop. I mean, my girlfriend was there on a I think Wednesday afternoon, and there was a full crew of dudes there working on the rental bikes for the weekend, and building trail and getting the place ready, obviously, for nationals. It was a few weeks before nationals, so dude, they seem to have it going on. It's pretty cool to see, and they've built a really good downhill track. I mean, it doesn't. They obviously don't have the elevation. I think it's like the place is maybe 800 feet or so. So similar to Highland, but man, what they've built for what they have is, I think, really good. And I kind of, I hadn't been over there before the World Cup started because I live so close to Windrock, but they have some big hits, like heavy G outs for what elevation they have. And it's like a pretty proper rough track.
Sick.
That's dope. Yeah, that was my only note about the track, is it looked like the most high-speed compressions I've ever seen in a 2.5 minute track.
Yeah.
It was just like
yeah,
it was
sure.
like bomb hole, but not like your typical bomb hole for maybe braking or landing off of something. It was intentionally built, really aggressive impacts. And your comment about people sending their lives looked pretty accurate from the coverage I saw.
Yeah, I just, there was a lot of coverage of people like getting loose in their race run, which there always is. But I was just really surprised at maybe, I do try to watch the kids, and maybe I've just noticed this over, like, I'm not trying to by any means say anything not nice about anyone, but I just noticed that a lot of the time it just seemed like I just found myself saying, what was your plan there? Like, how did you think this was going to turn out? Like, watching the speed in which some of these kids were entering, and I'm just like, that is not going fast. That is being out of control. And I guess it was just really surprising to me to see it, because at nationals, the only time there's track walk is at 6:00 at night for a half an hour. They run the shuttle after practice is over because there's so many categories for nationals. So I would find myself walking in the middle of the day during the other practice. And I think it was the same thing even at the World Cups. Like, it was scary. I could not watch. Like, I would go up there to watch practice and see what the lines are now that the schedule has changed at the World Cups. And it's the same thing. I just am cringing. And I'm just like, I don't want to see this. I got to go. And that was maybe some of the things I was seeing at Rock Creek, man, dude. So it was, it was wild to watch.
People just want the stars and stripes sleeve.
Dude,
Sending their lives for it.
It was all thriller, no filler. I mean, it was like action. There was action. I mean, dude, they were giving the people what they want. That's for sure. Boy.
That was actually a note I had here, is after doing the first 3 World Cups of the year that had semifinals, how was it going back to doing a traditional formatted downhill race?
It was slippery in the morning, and then you were going to have to predict the conditions for the race in the afternoon, which is always challenging. And then USAC had a gap in the schedule, so they decided to throw in an extra 1 hour practice in there. An hour before final. So it didn't really feel that different because you didn't have to wait for 5 hours. You just got to warm back up and then go right back up and do your race run. And it wasn't even really a lot of time there. So honestly, I was kind of surprised by that. And it didn't feel much different just because of that, I think. Obviously 1 lap, no crap. and yeah, it was what it was. That's for sure.
That'll
One
be
lap, no crap.
that'll be a sticker, part of our Vital and TV sticker pack right there.
Wow, Dak Norton on a jet ski, 1 lap, no crap.
Dude, just to really get off topic here, I was going back through some notes on my computer, cleaning it out, and I had a note. All it said was just Norton Construction, and I was like, "Oh yeah, there's that shirt we got to make."
Yeah. Just riding the jackhammer.
It'd be him on a downhill bike with like a tool belt on.
Yeah.
Yeah, be perfect. Or like hammering a screw gun going to work on your bike, Norton Construction.
Dude,
Yeah.
me and my tool belt in the pit. Just a straight up framer tool belt with all my bike tools in it. Strap on and get jiggy.
Incredible. I feel like we got to give a shout out to Nico also, because he was back racing, wasn't he, after crashing preseason?
Yeah, I was super surprised to see that. Obviously, to think that he hasn't rode and he's going to be on pace is a bit of a far, like maybe a far off like expectation. But dude, he was riding really fast and really well for how close his injury was. And I got to say, like when I saw him walking, like he's still walking with a limp, but he's riding at 90% as fast as he probably has. So it was honestly pretty wild to see. I was kind of blown away to see how fast he was riding.
Yeah,
but,
dude, that's sick. I know. I believe he finished 10th, and when I saw his name just in the results sheet, I was a bit taken back. I was like, oh, I didn't realize Nico's riding again, or let alone racing again, and then to be in the mix.
Yeah, he said he had only rode that week, like one day.
Wow.
And I think Charlie Harrison was out there, and he like did a lap behind maybe Charlie and Asa and was able to keep up. And he was like, well, I might as well race. Why would I not? Which people are going to be stoked to see that. That's cool.
Yeah, for sure. He's like the mayor out there, I'd imagine.
Dude, literally. He's running Brevard, North Carolina. That's for sure.
What else, man? Richie Root is back racing downhill on that new Yeti DH bike. That's like, I don't know if I'd call it a prototype because it looks like production.
No, it's dialed. It's very refined. I think the goal was to try to. Oh yeah, full carbon, dialed in, ready to go. It's awesome looking. Really does look good. They went straight to carbon, so bold moves.
Yeah,
bold moves. And he was riding super well. I think the goal was to try to have a chance at winning nationals to get a world spot. As I think was maybe the plan there. Richie, I think, really wanted to race worlds this year, and they made a bike for it and a bunch of media, and then unfortunately he didn't get selected for the team, which is kind of a bummer. I think he's obviously a killer on a bicycle, to say the least.
Yeah.
On that topic, though, Nico is on the world's team.
Yep. From what I saw.
Yeah. Sure.
And I think they did a good job with the team selection. I mean, obviously there's limited slots and there's plenty of killers that didn't get to, go race. I mean, I would say that being your current EWS overall leader would maybe be like something good, but at the same time, I mean, Dooley's ripping. I was an automatic, Luca was automatic, and Dylan Maples had a top 30 at a World Cup. So, I mean, that's a hard selection, and it's not my decision to make by any means. But yeah, good to see a strong team for the U.S. this year.
Yeah, for sure. I know. It's obviously super tough, but I like having Dylan in there because he's been making a push to do all the World Cups this year. He's been at all the races. He's been doing well, and
he's riding good.
It's like a reward for all that effort, even if maybe on paper he's not as comparable to Richie, but Richie's an enduro racer. Like if he would have won nationals, of course, like get him there.
Yeah, he would have had an automatic.
Yeah.
It's an automatic if you win nationals. So but dude, pretty savage for Richie for racing both. I mean, that's a big weekend.
Yeah.
No, definitely. Well, I mean, I was going to try to keep this podcast short to begin with, and now that we're an hour and a half behind, let's keep it extra short. Dakotah,
What you got for me?
take us through your weekend, man. You qualified fastest, and then you finished 6th. Yeah, everybody wants the Kubota update. I saw some stuff in the forums from Bizich, one of our go-to commenters. He was a marshal, and he was saying you were fastest all weekend. So,
Dude, it's I felt like I could have won that race. Obviously, I knew Luca, it's his local track, and Luca has been riding phenomenal all weekend, or all year. I mean, obviously, the dude is ripping. He's got the bike dialed in. What else can you say? The dude's been on World Cup podiums this year, and he's not. I mean, he has qualified first in a lot of World Cups, and he's absolutely a savage on the bicycle. So definitely always hard, along with the long list of other dudes that could have won that race. I felt good. I felt like I got up to speed quick on the track. I felt like I had good lines. Qualifying, I rode well, and felt like I was getting on good. Unfortunately, the run before qualifying, I had a huge crash and sprained my wrist pretty bad. Not necessarily what I was looking for by any means. And, I mean, like I'm talking like blew the bike apart. Almost had to rebuild half the bike. It was a big one, biggest crash I've had all year.
what
Just kind of
happened?
Yeah. I didn't quite. There was a kind of a tech section. It wasn't even super high speed. It was just like a big G out, and then you had to be really precise with your tire placement right next to a pole. And if it was any other place, it wouldn't have been a big crash. But I just kind of didn't get my front wheel, I guess, onto the ledge enough. Which in my head, it was like every other lap, hit it wide open, no issues. And then all of a sudden I was flying through the air without my bike underneath me and just kind of crashed into some rocks and into the berm. So like I landed going uphill. So it was like a super sudden stop and sprained my wrist. I was able to wrap it and qualify. And then when I woke up on race day morning, it was super sore and questionably broke. First run, I couldn't even ride down the track. I just kind of like looked at everything on the side, warmed it up really well, and it loosened up, and I was able to wrap it and ride the second practice, and it was able to ride at a pretty good pace, and I was like absolutely I can do this for one run. And I have nothing. I mean, I did not feel the wrist in my race run, and I felt like I rode really well. Unfortunately, I just kind of burped a tire going into an uphill with a flat traverse after and lost a ton of speed and pretty much came out of that section crawling, as you can see in Butch's video.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it, dude. It was over. I mean, on a track that short with those kind of hitters, I mean, I knew I had lost it, but still pushed to the bottom, and my brain reset super quickly, and I was able to go right back into race mode and ride fast, if not faster than what I had planned. And I felt like I warmed up and everything was going right. It just went wrong. So that's racing, man. I mean, who knows? I could have landed on a root, could have landed on a little loose rock and caused it to roll the tire. But just an unfortunate racing incident. And who knows? I could have jumped deeper, whatever. It's a race run. Sometimes you do everything right and it still goes wrong. And that's why racing is, so challenging and so addicting. But congrats to Luca, man. I think he probably rode pretty dang phenomenal. He put a pretty decent chunk on the other dudes. So the dude he always shows up, and that's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, that's cool. That's rad.
Yeah, it's his first national champs in elite, right?
Yeah, he's never won one. I think he came super close a lot of the years on Aaron, and then I was able to win the first one, and then he didn't come for the second race. It was me versus Aaron, and then we're two probably of the top dudes. So he rode great. So obviously I don't want to see anybody else. I don't want to lose. Like But if I can lose in any fashion, it's like I can accept that it just wasn't meant to be and move on. And, now next year I get to try to win it rather than defend it.
Yeah.
So different game.
Totally. No, that's cool. Yeah, stoked for Luca. And yeah, man, you had it for what, 2 years?
Yeah. It would have been cool to try to win it a third time, but
There's
that
still
would
time.
have been cool. But yeah, I mean, I think it would be different too. Like if every single heavy hitter was there, like if Aaron was healthy, that would have definitely been, but the field was still super stacked. Dante was there. Dylan was there. Dooley was there. I mean, there's a long list of dudes that were super fast, and yeah, you just got to show up with your A game. And I felt like mentally I did that. So just trying to learn that, you can't win everything, like, yeah. And if you don't win, you're not a failure. Like maybe like the effort and the, like, and Aaron's helped me with this quite a lot. And he kind of preaches this to me. Like if your effort and your intent is there and your execution feels like it was on point, and it still goes wrong, like you can walk away from it happy and be like, I didn't win. And I think honestly too, more learning comes out of your failures than your successes. That's for sure. So there's a lot to learn, I would have done differently. But at the same time, like, man, I rode well. I just didn't win, and that's okay.
So proud of you. Look how far you've come. Such a mature racer these days.
Yeah, well,
still
maybe that
break
wasn't
a thing here or
K10.
there, but
yeah, I almost burnt the pit down after Val de Sol. That didn't go well. So I'm just learning, man. I'm trying to become more of an athlete, and just understanding that, dude, I won like the last, like, how many U.S. nationals and you won the USO. I mean, I've had my successes are more than my losses, I mean, you got to like look at it and just kind of be happy with what you've accomplished, and be happy, even find a way to be happy even if you can't win. It's just that winning is not everything all the time. So that's something I learned from getting beat, I mean, normally I would just I'd be afraid almost to not win. So it's kind of interesting to, I've had some failures lately, and it's just interesting to go through that process. You turning your AC on in your van? Is it hot? Yeah.
Does it look hot? I am getting kind of lit up by the sun right now. Luckily, old Bellingham ain't that hot right now.
Living good.
Yeah,
that's what I got to say on the race, boy.
Sweet. I mean, yeah, I got a few more notes here, but kind of just quickly, Anna Newkirk, I believe that was her first national title for elite women.
That'll be cool to see
for a few years.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see the sleeve back at the World Cups consistently.
Yep, that'll be sick. Shout out to her. Pinky does double junior, both of his junior years. He was national champ, I believe. Old Stinky Pinky. Yep. Shout out to him. He would have been fifth in elite, so that's pretty sick. And shout out to Evan Metcalf. He was in second. Yep. He's kind of been a little bit in the shadow of old Stinkerton, but he would have been ninth in elite, which is pretty sick as well.
I talked to Metcalf.
What?
We had a chat on the shuttle. Yeah, I even took a little video. Yeah. So I can work on getting that over to you. I pulled out the phone.
What's your plan? Are you gonna email? You're gonna mail it to me? Like, what's your plan there?
Dude, we only got dial-up here in France, so I might have to just put a label on it and send it over on a CD. 8-track.
What did Evan have to say?
The word on Evan, as you know, everybody's been long awaiting this. Has had some burners. Unfortunately, had some burners that have gone wrong, unfortunately. But it's just him. He's been traveling around Europe full privateer. And there's two of them, another USGH dude. So it's the
Colin.
Yeah, Colin. Colin.
Yep.
So he's been traveling around. They've been kind of just ganging up to privateer together, and yeah, definitely has had some good goes and had some rough luck. But he's nice kid. I don't know. I'll send the video and let you guys decide.
I like
He's
it.
live.
Does he know about the search for him? The search for Evan.
Yeah. What is he? Let's see here. He's riding. We're gonna open the video right now. They're on. I'm gonna give them some shouts. It's their little team is called Evolve Racing, and they're it seems like supported by Common Salt, Industry 9, Deity, Maxis, Frank Brothers. Who else is on their jersey? Give my man a shout out. You know, people that are helping him out. Maxis as well. I don't know if I said that. Yeah, dude. I'd have to review the video here, but he's on 100%. I mean, we're pretty much teammates at this point.
It's true. Including the Maxis, right?
No, not the Maxis. The 100%. We're both on. I mean, we wear the same kit with different logos.
All right, the Turpin's
No,
Turpin.
He's running. I think he's stealing my spec actually because he's in the black kit with the black goggles and the black helmet. So we're gonna have to have a talk about his giddy up he's running because that's clearly my swag.
I think that's what you've always wanted, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of all black kit.
You're a trendsetter.
Oh,
Oh, shoot, what was I just gonna say? Oh, I was giving you shit about Max's tires, but speaking of tires, we just had our front tire comparison test come out today. In case anybody wants to go watch or listen or read about 8 different tires that we tested, looking at them on how they performed in the front. But my favorite tire was the V Attack HPL.
Yes,
So,
sir.
that thing was actually pretty sick. I really didn't want to like it just because you've hyped it up so much, you know, kind of like that, you know, like when your parents want you to do one thing and you don't want to do it sort of vibe. But yeah, shit was sick, man. I hyped it up.
Oh, yeah. Did you like the rubber?
Yeah, I liked everything about it, honestly. I mean, and we all liked it. Tanner was a tester, and then
it was
Johnny
on the
as well.
podium.
Yeah, it was consistent. It was just good across the board.
The Attack HPL. That's interesting. That's the
It's the look-alike tire.
I'm checking it. Oh, it looks like a different tire.
A little bit,
Wow.
but
I've never actually rode that tire. I should try it.
oh really? No. Oh yeah, I actually saw.
I'm on the
You're running the other.
I'm
one.
on the FSX. Yeah, I've been running the FSX. But you're happy with the HPL?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the conditions that we tested it.
Yeah, I mean, we were riding it in, you know, loose over hard pack, kind of rocky SoCal conditions. So you're like classic summertime conditions, and
nice.
It was pretty cool, and it was good too because the test was fun because we had the same set of Crank Brother wheels to test for all of us. So we had like some controls, you know, like we all ran the same pressures that we wanted, same wheels, and then a bunch of tires, and they were all supposed to be like trail all mountain enduro casing. And that was probably the biggest takeaway for me is how different brands, like, I don't know what you call, like midweight casing feels. Like we tested a double down, and I think we all thought Max's double down was like one of the softest in the group versus like, but it was also the heaviest. But then like the V was probably like middle of the group weight wise, but felt really good. A lot of the tires honestly felt really solid, but that one was one where, you know, it wasn't so stiff. Like we tested Continental's downhill casing because of just what they sent to get the grippiest rubber. You ended up with the stiffest casing, and that tire was like, took a lot of energy to make go where you wanted. It was good, but it required some aggressive riding. That's for sure.
That's super interesting.
This is turning into a tire podcast.
I've always been a big fan of the DHR in the front. I like a very hooky tire, so that's where I run FSX Attack FSX.
Yeah,
so
super
interesting.
looking.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna give that a go. Throw it on there and see what it's all about. I actually have some tires and Tyre's coming to do some testing here in Morzine, so I'm really excited to run
Sick.
the whole fleet.
Yeah.
Just get it going.
I love it.
But-
Let's see.
Back on.
I think we're kind of getting towards the end of this. We got to give a shout out to old Austin Hackett, man, our other co-host who doesn't actually podcast with us anymore, but he showed up and raced. He got 21st. I'm sure he wanted more, but just happy to see his name in the mix.
Yeah, he was on
Dude.
he was on Jordan Williams' bike.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Yeah. I even did a look at it. Looks pretty good. Might have
But
pushed
isn't it
on the
just
seat one.
Isn't
Might
it
have
just
pushed on the seat one.
Wasn't he just on the like current demo, but it's like longer? Or are you
Yeah.
talking about the like new that Bruni's on?
No, it's not the new.
No.
I think Jordan Williams has a couple things going on it.
There's
I don't know.
tweaks.
I can't speak on the subject. We'll need to get an interview from AHK.
HK 44. Get me out here.
Dude, it was looking sweet. I wish he had to get some feedback. He's probably gonna say, "No, you can't say that."
True. You know, I was in an undisclosed area with undisclosed individuals, but I actually have seen the new bike, the new downhill bike.
You've
I
seen it.
I pedaled around the parking lot.
I'm gonna get your hand behind your
Unreal.
back, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, say you love hamburgers.
I
Say
can't
you
say
love
anything
hamburgers.
about it. Tell me you love me.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
tell me you love me.
Signed
It was,
an NDA.
No,
I'm gonna break your arm. I'm gonna break your
Oh,
it was what I was the most surprised about is that where we were and who I was with, the bike wasn't covered. And we were out riding. And I'm sure that
In
person
public.
will listen to this and they'll be like, you gave me enough shit in person. Don't be lighting me up to everybody else. But I mean, you know, we were somewhere that it wasn't too risky, you know. We weren't like in Whistler. But yeah, I can't say anything about it, but it was interesting and it was cool to look at because there's been so much speculation about what's going on. And it's, as you can deduct from looking at the bike, even with all the shrouds on it, it's different for Specialized, you know, like they're definitely not holding back with their race teams trying to make fast bikes. So it's interesting.
Did you get to push on it?
I did push on it.
Oh my. Oh, you're gonna receive an email about this.
From who?
Me. I want to know.
You're like, take out a piece of paper, draw out where the links. Guesstimate.
No, I don't need to know where the
plot.
links are. Just want to know what it felt like.
Dude,
Ugh.
honestly, it was too small. The like prototype that for me, it was too small of a bike, and so I just popped around on it outside of like the house we were at, and it felt like a dual suspension mountain bike. You know, like it was hard because it was like practically two sizes too small for me. So that made it tough to like, and I was on flat ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, where I was, there was a Atherton downhill bike also sitting around, and just pushing on that bike and kind of dicking around with it in the garage. That bike was super sick, like super supple, really quiet. Just like you drop the bike and it like thuds, you know? I mean, I was like, damn, these things are sick. They look cool.
he was chubbing for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, your fancy
They're
bike that
going
you got to keep
fast.
under wraps. Dude, they are going fast. Those things are cool. I'm
Did
in the process of bugging them about trying to get one.
Did it have a low bars on it? Yeah.
What?
The Specialized?
I don't even remember. It was low for me.
Yeah. It's like- I haven't seen one with high bars, so I was like, wondering if everyone's riding them.
Yeah,
with low bars.
I can't say too much about it, but I figured this is enough just to make people excited to hear that it's out somewhere. in the world.
It's floating.
It is floating. But people will
Somewhere in
never
North
know because I've been
America.
road tripping for 2 weeks. You have no idea where I might have seen it.
Yeah.
It could be
Yeah.
in this person's driveway right now in Bellingham. It could be in Klamath Falls, Oregon. Anyways, this has ran on a little bit. Anything else? I should put a disclaimer again for anybody. This podcast was supposed to happen hours ago, and we're already running a little bit behind on things. So I just wanted to cover some Natty Champs, kind of get a gauge on racing stuff. Well, here's one. Not to end with the pot stir, but in the past, there's always been where was Nationals in Colorado again the past couple of years?
Winter Park.
A lot of people were quite upset about the cost of like registration plus lift tickets and then like the potential return you could get if you won. Was it any better being at Rock Creek, having Nico kind of behind the scenes, maybe thinking of the rider a bit more than USAC kind of seems to do?
I don't believe that there was any change. And if anything, maybe it was even more expensive.
Really?
If I'm being honest, I think my registration was $275. Wow. I could have swear, and because I on-site regged, I could have swear it was $255 before. And yeah, no, I don't think that Rock Creek has anything to do with that. I think that's all USAC related.
I wonder, do you guys have any idea what it costs Rock Creek to host Nationals? Because I'm assuming they have to pay now.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe they have to pay.
I just know GRTs used to be $25,000 to USAC.
That's crazy.
Just to have a GRT label.
I have no information on this, but I know that I don't know the number, but they had to pay to have it. And I would assume that's probably why it was so the date, the release of the location was probably so late. They probably had to find someone to have it, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think that they essentially like Nico, I think just supports USAC in running their race. I don't think he really has anything to do with it other than he tapes the course and here you guys go. But
man,
I think that USAC runs the race.
What do you know what any of the first 3 World Cups cost you to register? Out of curiosity.
I think $80, I believe, is what it used to be in the past. I'm not sure but I don't think it's really changed. I think it was like $60 or $80 to register for a World Cup.
Yeah. Well, and at Rock Creek though, did you have to pay for the shuttle or anything like that?
No, you just pay your registration fee.
Well, that's cool at least. Like, I mean, it sounds like Winter Park you had to pay for lift tickets as well, which is like a whole other cost involved. And I remember Nationals in the past being like that. And I remember being frustrated a few times because the lifties would see you had a number plate and be like, oh, we don't have to scan your pass. And I was like, then why did I buy them?
Yeah.
Why did I spend a couple extra $100, you know? But anyways, yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I'm sure if I saw the breakdown and cost for USAC to run an event, I'm sure most of those numbers are fairly justified. I know it's not cheap probably to do what we assume is a simple mountain bike race to put on, but it still makes it tough to have national series, have national champs, even, you know.
They just have so much staff. Like there's so many USAC people there. It must be so expensive for them to put on a race because it takes so many of them to put on the race. It's amazing how many humans they have there.
Yeah. I'm curious if Nico would ever care to like disclose some of that, being somebody who has his own series that he's like got up and going and is successful now. And, you know, he's somebody that works incredibly hard from every angle to make those happen. I'm sure he knows better where maybe expenses could be, you know, I don't even know what you want to say, like cut, but just use better.
Yeah. Yeah, the budget seems like it could
you'll budge.
Spent. Yeah.
The only thing that was pretty frustrating for me is when they like hand timed the first enduro stage, and I was like, "Yo," like, especially with the time gaps for the pro men at the finish, I was like, "Wow." Like that's for a national championship, they shouldn't be using stopwatches.
No.
Like the race finished at 1:30 in the afternoon, and they did not have results until 7 o'clock at night.
Interesting.
That's it. Like imagine racing enduro and being like, "Oh, the race is done. Did I win?" And you don't find out until 7:30 at night who won.
Hey, this is why we don't race enduro.
Tanner hates enduro.
He'd probably be really good at it.
You probably would be. I mean, if history's proven itself before, sort of thing, most downhill racers do pretty well when they go to enduro.
He goes
We all
like
have a
the
future.
clappers on an enduro bike, and he's fit. He can do a 6. He probably does more 6-hour days than the dudes that race enduro. All right. How about this? We race a BME together, you and me.
Oh, wow.
What? I'll show up and race.
Can Vital pay for this?
If you can make a good enough video
document.
concept, we can get some brands on board to support it.
Us idiots go and race enduro.
You know, I actually just got hit up from Commensol to test their new Meta. That's their enduro bike. Yeah, their Meta. And but their angle was to have somebody from Vital do a race that their like factory team is at, and it would be like you're testing the bike yet racing it under like our pit, and you'd have support and all this. I was like, damn, my chance to be full factory enduro out of nowhere.
You gotta do it.
Yeah. I know. I gotta do it, minus that like ain't nobody got time for that. Like, when am I gonna? I'm just gonna go to Europe for like 2 weeks and race bikes. What do I think this is? 2018? Come on, it's absurd. On somebody else's dollar, man. It's like all my dreams coming true. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
No.
You have to stay with
But I was
Jose.
like, that's a cool idea. Yeah,
I want to see you at the bottom of a 14-minute stage.
dude.
Oh,
Me?
okay.
You would see
If
me
you guys-
halfway through first pulled over massaging my forearms.
If you guys really want to sidetrack, I was at the Downieville Classic this weekend.
Oh yeah.
Shooting stuff like, and that downhill, they did it in 43 minutes. I mean, like, it's a loose term of downhill. Like, downhill is a very loose term on this. Like, it's a 43-minute stage, and with like 1,000 feet of climbing in it, and the whole bottom part's flat. They looked so spent after.
It sounds terrible.
The kid that we were filming got second on a 120 Scott Spark RC with a negative 20 mil stem. He rips. Like, Chris Blevins won and beat him by 20 seconds. And then Marco Osborne comes down, and the dude's got a full mouth cut out of his knee. Like, imagine just like the size of your mouth, but like a gash in his knee. And he just like finished the whole race with this thing. And he's like, yeah, it kind of hurt. Like, I was like, what? These dudes are,
I don't got that.
Yeah, no.
I ain't built like that.
Yeah. I'm like, man, yeah, they said the cross country race, everyone was cross-eyed at the top, you know.
You're pretty high up there now.
Yeah, it gets up, I want to say it's like over 7.
Dude, that is rough.
Over 2,000 meters.
Yeah, I was in Tahoe when you were in Downieville, and there was a 100-mile race going on there, and I saw a few people walking around afterwards that just looked like they had just transponded there from a different time. They looked terrible. I was like, why? It was like 90 degrees too. Good sidetrack. Good stint.
Tanner, didn't you Snapchat me out on like a 140-mile ride the other day?
I was on, what did I do? Oh, I did like 110 like a month ago through this into a headwind the entire time in the Central Valley.
Way to do it.
Like, it was 110 miles into a headwind dead heat, no shade, like literally like California Aqueduct. I rode it for 110 miles
Man,
in the
you
Central
should have had
Valley.
an umbrella helmet on or something.
And
Umbrella hat.
yeah, that sucked. But
And you've won a U.S. national.
at one point,
Reigning champ,
Sign
PA.
sign this man up for this enduro trip. Let's go. We're ready.
no, the bike doesn't.
We've been,
It's, dude,
been
I only ride.
training.
I got my Genius ST, my Scott Genius. Just plug away right now.
You're ready to go.
Yeah. Hey,
Meta it is. Let's get it.
back on track here. Dooley and Dante, second and third, right next to each other again.
Who?
We got
Oh,
Dooley
Julie?
and
Yeah,
Dante,
I know.
Yeah, just right next to
I
each
almost
other.
messaged Dante to ask him how he feels about that, or if they planned it or like they had some deal going on. Like, look, we can't break the norm. We got to do what we always do. You'll be just ahead of me. You know what we really almost missed, and like everybody in the forums is like pulling their hair out right now if they listen to this. Asa Vermette. How did we just totally not talk about him? Also, all right.
He's really fast.
Yeah, we it's on our radar to do something with him. We just did like one of those shorter. I think I forget who filmed it. Did one of those?
Ben Wilson.
Yeah, Ben filmed it. That's right.
Yeah.
A little USDH rider profile with him, but I want to do something with him probably on here. I just don't want to intimidate him too much, getting him all of us interrogating him about how the heck he goes so fast. Yeah, exactly. We'll be all wide-eyed. Tell us your secrets. But dude, he has been winning everything. He's like on a tear this year, but wins enduro in elite, which I'm still not really sure how you do that. And then what would he have been? He would have been 9th in downhill, 2nd in juniors, and he's still in the like 15 to 16 category. Crazy.
Yeah.
Rips.
Yeah.
Rips.
And on an aluminum bike. And
dude, a bike that's not terribly light.
Yeah, I heard the bike is really sick though. Chuck was out testing it, said it was really sick. Yeah. But yeah, still I don't understand USAC and the allowing him to race elite in enduro, but then making him race 15, 16s. Remember back in the day at North Carolina, what was the track? Nationals was that?
Beach Mountain?
Yeah, Beach Mountain. Austin Hackett he was in the top 10. Our boy Austin in elite as a junior. He was like 7th, I believe. He got in 2012 as a junior. And then was it Kevin Littlefield was on the podium. Bubs was in elite as well. They let juniors race in the elite category. And then the next year, I think they forced all the juniors to be in the junior category and not allow them to race elite. Because AHK, he was on the podium at national rounds in elite as a junior.
Damn.
Yeah.
Let's not forget. Our other co-host rips.
Yeah.
He doesn't have time for us anymore, but
he's in the lab right now.
Man's had a career.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, dude, I don't really know like the logistics behind like why it matters necessarily. Like if say Asa put his hand up and was like, hey, can I just race an elite because I'm fast? I'd be like, sure. You know what I mean? Like there's it's only difficult for him, right? Like he's the one in the harder position, but if he can perform in it, it doesn't really matter. Like it is a weird one. Maybe USAC doesn't think enduro's real also, just like Tanner.
That's my theory. Before the show started, I said was they're trying to kill enduro. That's what they're doing.
Yeah. No, I need to Spomer actually mentioned that either him or Nico might be at Crankworks next week. So I need to bug them and try to link up and do something. Maybe ride their bike even would be kind of cool. Downhill bike.
Yeah, downhill bike.
Yeah,
Gotta
no.
make
I'm going to
sure.
Whistler. I'm only riding downhill bikes and e-bikes, but that's it.
Yeah. Sick.
Anything else?
We did predictions in the last podcast for
Oh yeah, this is
for Worlds.
this Google Doc you're looking at is just a old copy and paste. So
Okay.
World Champs is still coming up next. Still in Fort Bill. Dak, what's your schedule like between now and Worlds?
I'm in
Is he gone?
Morzine, France.
Okay.
No, I'm here. What do you mean? Am I gone? I'm here, baby.
Stop TikToking.
I'm in. I'm in France at the moment. Trying to get some runs in on a pretty rough track here, and yeah, it's just like one of the places I can go and get be like self accessible. Like I can get from the airport to like the mountain with a shuttle, and the lift runs every day. And there's a good gym here, so just kind of came over and I'm just gonna put my head down and remove myself from home and just grind for like the next, 2 weeks here, and then shoot off and race the worlds, and then come back here again until that next block of European racing.
Dang, that's sick. It's like a summer
Yeah.
vacation, but like fitness camp.
Yeah, I mean, it's more like downhill camp. Like the tracks here are just so rough and steep. I could probably go to Andorra and ride early. That would be awesome. But then, it's kind of hard to get from Barcelona airport there, Here
Yeah.
I can just kind of like cruise over and do my thing. And the union has a house here, and they were nice enough to let me stay at it, which they don't own the house, obviously, but they have an Airbnb. So, we just kind of trade off, and sometimes Frida will stay with me, and then they're nice enough to let me come here. I came here for the team's camp before the first World Cup with them, and then I'm going to stay here for a few races. So it's awesome, man. We just kind of hang out and get some riding in.
Sick. What anything in particular you're working on leading up to Worlds with yourself or bike setup?
It's just comfort, really. Yeah, just trying to find more comfort. The middle of this track, and the bottom's super steep, the middle is really rough, and the top has a bunch of flat corners. And there's various tracks like you can ride. I don't know if everybody knows much about Morzine, but essentially it's down the valley from Leger, so you can take the Morzine lift and ride to Leger and ride on both sides of that valley, and then on down the valley is Morzine and Super. You drop over the back of Super, and there's Linderettes, and then on the back of that is Châtel. And then also you can take the Mozette's lift to Swiss Champs or Le Croisette or Champery. So there's essentially an endless amount of tracks, and I think that the Planey is debatably one of the best places to ride a downhill bike, and one of the most like well-rounded and difficult places to ride on the planet. So, I mean, it's super good here, and it's really replicable. Like it gets so rough, it gets so much traffic. It's like Whistler of Europe. So, and they don't do a ton of like work on the trail, so they get like rough, and it's like a World Cup track. So, just gonna stay here and try to get fast.
Sick. That's dope. Is anybody else there outside of the union riders? Like you see any other World Cup racers posted up there?
Yeah. Oh, there's definitely a lot of people will stay here in the breaks between the races. And I'm sure you'll see a lot of dudes show up like, maybe not because Fort William's actually in Scotland, right? But like before Andorra, I'm sure there'll be a group of dudes here for a week. I've seen couple of South African boys, but other than that, I haven't really, I just got here yesterday, and today went to the gym and did some intervals. So haven't really seen anybody because I haven't been to the lift, but I'm sure there's a group of French dudes here training. Usually I'll see like Coulange here, and I'll see Amari here, and all the syndicate actually has a warehouse here. So they have their whole race team's operation is in Europe is based from Morzine.
Oh, wow.
So those guys will be here quite a lot too, I'm sure.
Dang. Sick.
Some good insight.
That is some good insight.
If anyone listens this
Dude.
long, they get a little treat.
Get the carrot at the end,
if
huh?
you want to get fast, dude, if you want to get fast, this is, I think, the place to do it. I mean, you look at the dudes that ride here and train here, and they are some of the best in the world. So I think that speaks for itself.
Yeah, that's cool. That is still high on my list of vacations I need to do.
Yep.
Like European road trip, but post up there for like a week and ride all those spots you just like listed off.
Yeah, it's sweet, man. It's definitely super sweet over here.
Yep. Well, should we close this thing out?
We shall.
We're only an hour, 2 hours later than I thought it was going to be. It's okay.
You're not getting that
you'll have
review
that.
until after later this afternoon.
Yeah,
It's not
right.
like you wanted to go riding Whistler.
I mean, dude, I'm just on that working grind. I'm trying to get all my stuff done. It's Wednesday right now. I'm trying to get everything done so that I can ride up there Friday and maybe not work too much. But, we'll see what happens. This
I reckon a bulldog or two at the Longhorn and you'll forget all about work.
No, it's true. I put more energy into my work-life balance than I ever have with this job. So I'm looking forward to the next few days. It's going to be super fun. We'll focus on bike riding. I'm just trying to get all my shit done now. That's why we're podcasting. So we were going to podcast at 8 a.m, but now it's 10:30.
Yeah.
So there we are.
Dak, I drove all day.
I don't know what you
yesterday.
guys are talking about.
Didn't get to bed till after midnight. Woke up this morning ready to go. And sat here for an hour.
Yeah. Instead, you're
Where-
just putting out some measly watts on your sprints.
Yeah.
Where's Dak? Where's Dak at? Dude, you'll have that.
We
What
don't
can I
need
say?
to.
You'll have that.
We're done.
Yeah.
We can let it go.
All right.
Well, thank you everybody for chiming into this kind of we'll call it like the little in between podcast between World Cups. We got Worlds coming up beginning of August. Looking forward to that. And thank you to Max's Berg Tech Industry 9 for supporting this. And we'll see everybody then. Peace.
Peace.